Portrait in oil paint. Make sure to mix the paint very well with the medium for a smooth, uninterrupted application of color on the canvas. I am not using the usual medium of turpentine and linseed oil as a binder, as that takes longer to dry. The medium I am using is Liquin by Winsor and Newton. It is one of the better mediums available in the market and adds luster to the color. It is a good idea to create a background or base for any work, as it helps in adding body and volume. In case of the portrait, the base color will not only add depth to the face but also works as the skin tone for the portraiture. To prepare the background, I will apply a layer of ochre, creating a patch as wide and long as I would like the portrait to be. The patch works as the outline for my entire composition. Now I rub it off with a piece of cloth to lift the extra color and oil. This way it does not get mixed with the dark color I will use for the basic sketch. For that I have mixed very little black with burnt cider. Start sketching the essence. Keep the main marks or dots in mind and make a mental note of these as you observe the model. Draw the hairline, extending it to make the right side of the face, eyes and the eyeballs. Continue drawing the rest of the features such as nose, and mouth. Keep the basic form in mind. I have been repeating this through all the lessons. If you get the basic form correctly, your drawing will resemble the model quite early. I am developing the hair. Be attentive towards the route I take the paint this portrait. He is the same model we used in our last lesson. So compare how I drew the hair then and how different is my approach this time while drawing the basic sketch for the same face. I picked sap green to fill the lighter middle tones for the left profile. We are free to choose any color scheme in the expressionistic route of painting. Expressionism is pure interpretation. By capturing some crucial characteristics trait, we can then apply any color that we feel like painting at that point. I pick a certain of colors and set them aside of painting a portrait. For example, in this one, I use the colors usually seen in skin tones, which are green, orange, maple yellow, blue, white, and ochre. I pick blue to paint the collar of a shirt. Using white over the blue to create depth and the folds of the cloth. By a well thought applications of these two colors, I will draw the entire shirt and width of his shoulders. Before I add the cardigan with a shade achieved through calculative mixing of blue, white and ochre. The highlight at the center of the neck is important. It helps lift the shirt as well as the chin of the portrait. I will add highlights on top of the eyebrow and upper eye. I will gradually build the highlights and lighter middle areas stroke by stroke. These areas usually are below the eye, lips, tip of the nose and chin. At this point in this portrait study, the model begins to act like a reference. I need to consult the face sometimes to see the basic light and dark. The rest of the portrait is building from my own imagination and choice of colors, how I would like to interpret my subject. I add a strong white highlight on the top of the left eyebrow. Weigh the highlights carefully and apply the white, applying a stroke on the nose. And upper eyelids. As discussed in the earlier lesson, I mentioned that the lines on the side of his mouth are very strong character lines. I will draw these lines which starts from the corner of the nostrils to the corner of the lips. I will paint the arms with the same blue I used for the shirt. You must have a strong sense of observation and drawing skills to confidently apply the strokes for the arms. For the suggestion of the fold, I decided to use the white of the canvas. Leaving it at some places when painting the arms. I will extend the background, repeating the same color scheme of the portrait in different values. Observing is the best teacher, so observe your teachers carefully while they work. The background is a beautiful combination of tonal variation, lighter tones behind the edges of the ear and head of life, the portrait overall. The highlight in the center of the head over the bulk of hair I am painting with white and ochre applied in the same direction in which the hair flows. Also finalizing the form of the hair, adding details to the contours of his head. It is easy to make corrections in oil paints as it gets smudged and can be picked back if you feel some colors have been applied at a wrong area. Mistakes can be wiped or scraped out. I will paint the darkest shadow lines now. Be thoughtful and attentive before applying each stroke. I choose a shade of red for the shadows. These are creative decisions and can't be taught. This sense of color gets developed through a lot of practice. Reading books and studying the work of old masters over the years. Wood, cardboard, plywood, metal, and paper are also used for surfaces for oil paints, but the canvas remains the most widely used painting surface for oil paint. Work layers upon layers to create depth and interest. I may decide to stop here, but I personally feel that more work is required. This is a very personal decision. At any given point, you feel the essence has been captured and it is the best to stop working further. I picked red and burnt sienna to use the color for lighter shadows near the highlights. I applied white to bring out the bone of the nose. Using the same color to create strokes for highlights on the forehead too. I touch the outline, the left ear and hair near that. This is easily possible in oil. I reposition the strokes by painting the strands of hair striking out of the head above the left ear. As an impressionist, I observe the major planes, lines and light and shade in the portrait to paint the basic resemblance. Post which I add the final details to complete the portrait. These details will be the focal point. As an impressionist or an expressionist artist, I see only the color, shape and form, keeping the light in mind. As a final touch, I work on the eye area. The eye here are also the main focus point, as they are in usually all portraits. The strong white highlight will help express the bulging eyes of the model. Also take our attention to the eyes further. The most essential step is to add the white glint to the eye, as I insist on doing for all the portraits. Since the oil is still wet, I hold a brush diagonally and rat my hand over to place the white dot using a pen with a nib. As an impressionist, I observe the major planes, lines and light and shade in the portrait to paint the basic resemblance.